All right, we are back. We were filming upside down, but now we are back thanks to Louise, because we're a few seconds behind in our live broadcast, but we are back. So, for those of you who are just joining us, hello and welcome. This is our Puppy Lunch and Learn session, and today we're going to be talking about your puppy's first visit to the vet. And stay tuned because we're going to talk about 5 fear-free tips today to make this first visit less stressful for you and your puppy. So again, if you are joining us live, please go ahead and give us a thumbs up. If you are joining us on the replay, please post below, say hello. And before we get started, I want to introduce everybody here. So I'm Tracy Bisson. I'm the owner of It Takes a Village Pet Care. And we are a dog walking and pet care service located in Barrington, and we serve surrounding communities as well. I'm here with Laura Gendron of Misbehavior Training in Northwood. She is a fear-free certified trainer, and she also has experience working in a veterinary clinic setting for 8 years. And of course, the star of the show is Chester, our bulldog. He is 15 weeks old, and he is from Rochester. So I am very excited to have them both joining me today. So basically, we're going to be talking to you about your dog and its first vet visit, and the fact that it does not need to be scary or stressful for them or for you. Laura is going to share 5 tips to prepare your puppy for this fear-free visit, and we're going to tell you what you can be doing at home in order to help your dog succeed in making that first vet care experience a positive one. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to post them as we are broadcasting, and Laura will answer as we go. This is a roughly 30-minute presentation, so if we don't get to your questions, Laura and I will follow up in the timeline feed afterwards. So again, Laura and I were discussing kind of what, if you have children, what they experience the first time at the dentist or at the doctor's, and it's very similar with puppies, and there's a whole method you can use to make this less stressful for them, and that's what Laura's going to talk to us about.
Yes, I am. All right, so there are a few different skills, 5 specifically, 5 different skills that I have narrowed things down to kind of help you guys at home figure out what you can do to really prepare your puppy for the vet visit itself. And having worked in the veterinary industry for as long as I have, I feel like I've had sort of the inside scoop on what would actually be really helpful versus, what would be ideal. So yes, it would be ideal to do all of it, but realistically, there are a few things that you can really start with that will make the biggest impact. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about, and if you guys missed it too, I just want to go back and mention as far as the dentist visit, the doctor visit, and all that goes, my kids, when they go to the doctors, they get stickers at the end, and that's great, and they love that. And when my kids go to the dentist, they really love the dentist now because they get a little token they get to put into the machine, and they get to pick their prize and all that. So, kids at a certain age mostly have an understanding of if you go through this, then you can have that. And siblings of the kids who got the cleaning also think that they deserve the same token, the same sticker. So luckily the doctors and dentists are very good about that. But dogs are different in that they want that more immediate reward. So it's really important, there goes the ball again.
Oh no!
it's really important that you guys bring some really high value rewards for them. So the high value rewards can be really high value treats, and I'll show you one thing that Chester's getting today, which I love, is this freeze-dried treat. So this is an example of a nice dry high-value treat that they can get. But honestly, I recommend bringing cheese or chicken, or I would say ham, but within reason. It can be pretty fatty. Something that you would eat, something human grade. Boiled chicken is really nice if your dog has a sensitive stomach, because it's really high value if they get stressed out at the vet's office and therefore get their sensitive stomach. You're giving them something relatively bland but high value.
And would you recommend that that item is kept only for vet visits, or?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Ultimately, yes.
Okay.
However, you can use it for anything that the dog gets a little bit anxious about. Because you really want to have a nice high value treat It's kind of like, you know, am I going to pay him in $1 bills or am I going to pay him in 50s?
Oh, that's a good analogy.
I'm going to pay him in 50s to start with. I want to get him really addicted to the whole experience and it being a good thing. That's my finger. And then I'm going to wean down and I'm going to cut him back a little bit. He's going to get a decrease in pay. But he's not going to notice, so because he'll already be addicted to it. So you know, so really high value stuff, and really what I was saying in the earlier oops video was 50 to 100 treats.
Wow. In
one vet visit. Wow. Okay, that one's always really hard for even the veterinary professionals to understand because they're kind of like really like 50. I'm not talking biscuits. I'm talking
little
like
tiny
these
things.
tiny little things. I mean, I have a bowl full here. And there's probably, you guys can see it from there, but there's probably at least like 50, 60, I don't know, I'm terrible at estimating. But I mean, they're tiny. And there's no diet at the vet's office. It doesn't count,
Right.
Okay? So number one, bring the really high value treats. That is not tip number one. That's just going to be incorporated into all of this. Okay, so the first thing that would be really helpful for you guys to get your dogs used to at home is teaching them that they can trust that you're going to let them know what you're doing to them, okay? What I mean by that is I'm not just going to necessarily grab him and say like, you know, Chester, well, I actually wouldn't say anything. I'm not necessarily going to grab him and just start looking at his ears and looking at his paws and doing all that stuff because that's exactly what you'll get. He's a puppy, you know, he's going to be mouthy and it's going to hurt because he's got nice sharp teeth. So then we're going to stop doing it, and guess who just made us stop touching them? So you really want to prepare them to be handled. And what I like to do for that, do you believe the trainer forgot her treat bag? Terrible. What I would like to do for that is let him know what I'm about to do, okay? So in his case, because he's getting a little feisty, in his case I'm going to give him some direction, have him sit first, okay? And then I'm going to let him know that I'm going to pet him. You can name all the different body parts, but I say that's too much. Don't worry about it. Just let him know you're about to touch him, okay? So Chester, pet. Yes, good boy. And I want to get to him before he gets to me, okay? So I'm not rewarding the biting. I'm rewarding him for tolerating it. So watch a couple of them in a row, just so you guys can really see the demo. Pet. And if I have to just kind of like not even touch him at first, because I know that he's probably going to get mouthy, then I'll break it down to that. So I'm kind of shaping him into the petting. Chester, sit. Good boy. Pet. Nope. Nope. Yes, good boy. I gotta turn him around.
The difference there,
the
yeah.
face. You gotta see the face. It's
Yeah.
so darn cute. Okay, sit. Good boy. Okay. Pet. Go ahead. So he stopped. So I'm going to go ahead and reward that. He stopped being mouthy. He's just testing things out a little. Okay. Pet. And again, this is a puppy. Okay. This takes some time to get them used to, and I'm trying to demo a little bit in the video. But basically, what you want to be able to have as a goal at home is I can say pet or whatever word you want to use, and I can peek into his ears. I can lift the flaps of his ears. I can say pet, and I can touch his paws. Good boy. That was a good one. I can say pet, and I could even say pet, and I could like bring him in really close to me, like the vet techs like to do, where they're really, really snug, and they have no escape, and they're kind of like, what are you doing? Like, why? You totally took away my flight. So if they get really nervous, that's when they're going to start to get mouthy or worse. So anything that just sort of lets them know that, hey, I'm about to interact with you. I'm about to physically interact with you. It just warns them. It just allows them to have some heads up, basically, that you are about to touch them. And then you can actually do that before the vet touches them. Like, you can cue it for the vet. Because we don't necessarily want to expect the veterinarian or the vet tech to have to do these things. It's great if you go to a fear-free certified practice and they already know all these things and they're willing to slow down and do it. But we don't want to require it because, again, inside scoop here, it gets crazy at the vet's office. I mean, we've got like a million things happening all at the same time. Sometimes we have some extra time to spend with the dog, sometimes we don't. And if that's the case, you know what? Call ahead and say that you have a dog and you're trying to work on fear-free stuff and you would like to book a double appointment. So you have double the time. You're going to have to pay a little extra probably. But then you're not, you're not in a situation where you're feeling rushed and the dog's feeling rushed and the vet's feeling rushed and all that stuff. So,
well, at any point, Laura, would you introduce a clicker into this process?
You certainly could, yeah, you certainly could.
I don't know if that would be beneficial or.
Yeah, so in that case, like let's say I don't have a clicker on me right now, but I will often use a verbal marker also. Instead of a click, I'll say yes. And it could be that, I say, Chester, quick. Good boy, hi, sit. Good. Hi, pet. He stops. Good boy. I don't know if you heard the click, but that was a low one.
No,
like better than that, yeah. Pet. Pet. And again, in his case, I would be going like, pet, here, yes, good boy. And then here, yes, good boy. Chester.
So yes, good boy, you're using as the verbal marker.
Yes is my verbal
marker.
marker.
Yes, okay. And
yes.
do you suggest keeping it short?
Short.
Short.
Yeah, I like yes because yes is a very distinct sound to them, but they don't often hear yes.
Yep.
They hear good. They hear good boy, hopefully.
Oh, that's a good point.
Good girl. They hear no.
Yeah.
But they don't hear yes. The only time I've gotten in a situation where that backfired on me was when the dog's name was Ness. Okay, like that was a little, so we had to be a little more creative there. But yeah, it would be basically whatever I want to do, as soon as he allows me to do it, to whatever point I'm doing it too. So like if I only want to get this close to his head, yes, good boy.
Awesome.
Right?
Okay.
Yes, good boy. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. So
yeah,
if
it
anybody
does.
has questions about that, throw them in, but otherwise I'll move on to my...
No questions yet, but hello to Louise and Renee for joining us live. Appreciate it.
All right, so the next thing that I think I'll go to is hand targeting. Okay, so hand targeting, and Louise, you could probably back me up on this one. And any other trainers out there, any other dog experienced people, hand targeting, and his owners too. Hand targeting is the most beautiful thing that a dog can learn, and it's so undervalued until people use it and it works. So what hand targeting is basically I say something like touch, and then I would put either full palm out or I might do 2 fingers depending on what he was taught, and he comes over and he touches his nose to my hand and he gets rewarded, and that's it. Seems really simple. I get a lot of questions about why would I teach that instead of this, and this. Like, well, because it's more fun for the dog. I mean, literally, that's the only reason. It is more fun for the dog, and that summarizes all of it. The dog is going to be more willing to come over and touch their nose to your hand than they are to come when called.
Sure.
Right? They're going to be more willing to follow your hand to touch it to get up on that scary scale. Right? So really, it gives them a sense of direction and a task. And if we can give them a task to do, we're accessing that thinking brain that they have and not that emotional stuff that they go through. So dogs cannot perform tasks when they're emotional. We can't perform tasks when we're emotional. If we're fearful, anxious, way too excited, any of that stuff, you can't. Your thinking brain is not on at that point.
Oh,
so you have to get them within their learning zone. And in order to do that, it's really nice to have really specific but really fun for them tasks for them to do. And the hand targeting is one. So this is one that he learned in week 1. So he should be able to demo this one more easily for you.
Well, Louise says too, she says touch is so versatile. I use it for everything.
Everything. Literally everything. I mean, like if you want your dog here for whatever reason, touch. Yeah. And they come over and they're right there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, to this day, I can say come to him, and he's like, really? A bulldog. I don't do that unless I'm really motivated. And you say touch, and he books it over to me, and it's so cool. All right, Chester, touch.
Yes, you're right.
He just left his treat toy to come do a touch.
Wow.
Because he knows that there's a really high rate of reinforcement there. Right? If I had said come, it's going to blow me off. We haven't worked on come because it's not a priority for us because we have touch as our backup plan. So so the basic way to teach targeting, and this actually is another really great clicker thing. However, for many people, the clicker can be really hard to coordinate. Yeah. And with this one in particular, you'll feel like you need 3 hands. You don't. because really you don't need to be holding a treat when you have the clicker, but that gets into a whole other thing. So I do like to use the verbal marker in this one. So I'll sort of show you how I started it with him, and then you guys just start there and you just build on it. Chester, come here, bud. Chester. Chester, touch. See? I love it. I love it. Come. No.
I love his
touch.
legs.
Yes, I
I
know.
gotta get that. I gotta get
so
there.
Fast. And I taught him leash walk. I mean, he was having trouble leash walking. And I used touch for leash walking. It was like touch every, 5 steps or so. And now he's leash walking no problem at his own slow pace, mind you. But he's doing it.
I can see how, as dog walkers, that would be very valuable for us
so
to work on with our clients.
Yes. I mean, I can list off reason after reason after reason.
Yeah.
So the way that you start teaching it, and I do want to kind of get him facing you guys a bit more on this one.
And again, to reinforce, these are all things that pet owners can be working on at home
Yeah,
before
absolutely.
they actually get to the vet.
Yes, work on it at home. Yes, that's a good point. Don't try teaching this at the vet's office. Again, that thinking brain's not there. So they need to think at home and make it an established cue. Okay, so what I do at first, and this is where you guys can start, is basically just take your hand signal, whether it's full palm or 2 fingers, put it real close to their face, okay? And as soon as they show interest in it or they touch it with their nose, they're going to think you have a treat in it to start with, and we're using that to our advantage. So as soon as they make any sort of contact or just really show interest in it, yes, good boy, and treat him from the other hand, okay? Let me say that again. Treat him from the other hand. Okay, you don't want him to be looking for the hand that has the food in it. Okay, so so you really want to kind of have one prepared. Okay, so I wouldn't have said anything in the beginning. I add the cue later, but basically it looks like this. Yes. Okay, and of course he did it as a learned behavior, but your dog's going to do it out of curiosity. Okay, and there's a whole. I have lots of information for teaching that, lots of videos and stuff like that. So I'm going to kind of leave it at letting you know that this just is a really important skill to teach your dog. And again, you can get them in the vet's office using this. I mean, I have dogs that just they smell where they are. They know where they are when they pull in, then they smell where they are, and they're like,
Yeah, that's my
no
dogs.
way. Yes, they can smell the stress hormones around the outside of the building. A dog leaves the building, when they pee, they are literally peeing out their stress.
Huh.
Their hormones, their pheromones, are coming through in their urine. And almost every single dog will pee on the way out, unless we need them to, and then they don't do it. But almost every single dog will pee on the way out, and they are peeing and letting every other dog coming in know, hey guys, it's really stressful in there. Probably shouldn't go in. So a dog sniffs and they're like, nope. So get them in the door using hand targeting. Get them on the scale using hand targeting. Get them focused on hand targeting while the vet is giving them a shot. I mean, like, you can treat during the shots, and that's great. That's better than not doing anything. But a lot of dogs will not take a treat during a shot. They'll wait till after. And then sometimes what happens is they're like, that treat that you gave me that time I had that scary thing happen, it happened when they were in an emotional state. So they never want to touch that treat again.
Huh.
Right? So we use Cheese Whiz at the vet's office.
Oh, yeah.
And if it's a dog that will eat, but it's stress eating, they'll eat it that time maybe. And then next time they just smell it, they're like, nope, I'm out. Like, see you later. I'm not, I know that's a trick. I mean, they won't take anything from us because everything's a trick, right? So it's really nice to get them used to this sort of behavior at home.
They're smarter than we give them credit for, so.
Yes, so much. All right, task number 3, and this is my favorite, unless anybody had questions right now.
Not yet.
Okay. Task number 3 is the waiting game. I love the waiting game. So this is actually going to combine 2 of the tasks.
Okay.
The waiting game and the treatment area, establishing an area for them to get used to getting a lot of treats at. So we call it the treatment area for that reason, because they're getting a lot of treats there.
Ooh.
So what I would usually recommend is you find something, doesn't have to be bright yellow. Yes, he can see yellow. It does not have to be bright yellow, but something that does stand out a little bit more to him. He has no experience with this one right here. I grabbed it from my house. But basically what it is when it comes out, the treats come out. Okay? When it goes away, there are no treats. When it comes out, the treats come out.
Okay.
Okay? So that's one part of it. The second part of it is this gives them an option to participate or not participate. This is called cooperative care within the Fear Free program. So cooperative care is basically we are working with them as a team to cooperate in all of these scary things that we have to do.
And it's all positive reinforcement, which is
It's all
great.
positive reinforcement, yes. And you can, you know, if they have a favorite toy, like he loves to play tug too, we could do that, but if we are trying to get him used to staying a little bit more still during an exam, not ideal. I mean, it can work for some stuff, but, you know, trying to look at their eyes when they're playing tug, that's not gonna work out. Oh yeah, yes, good boy. So pull out your treatment area, make it a fun place. This is very similar to teaching a dog to go to bed or go to place or whatever it is, but you just want the treatment mat or area to be easy to transport. Okay, so something small. Their whole body doesn't have to fit on it. It's not about them laying on it. It's about the visual spot that they go to. Okay, so that's the treatment area. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so that's kind of task number 3 of the 5. And then within the treatment area is that waiting game. Or, you know, you can do it without the treatment area too. You can do it without anything. But this is as it applies to vet care. So, so the waiting game is kind of similar to what I did with the handling earlier. I guess that incorporated some of that in there also. But basically what it is I have this really yummy treat. And you can use a treat, you can use a bowl, you can use anything visual. For him, I think right now as a puppy, this bowl would be way too distracting for him. I don't think he's going to handle it. I think he would not wait if the entire bowl were in front of him. But that's a good thing to progress to. You're being so good.
He really is.
Being so patient. As I talk and talk and talk, huh? All right, so I'm going to take my little star treat here. Okay, you want it to be a pretty visible treat. I'm going to tell him to wait. All right, so this is something that you work on at home. You teach him to wait. Wait. But there's a crumb. Come here. Actually, it wasn't a crumb, it was a little pebble. Come here. Come over here. Okay, sit. Good. Wait. No. He does that, the treat goes away. So this is where he's in cooperation with me. You can participate and you'll get access to this. I'll release you to have it. Or you can be a little sassy and fresh or fearful in some dogs' cases. Not him right now. There's no fear in this dog right now. He's just being a sass. And then if he's like that, he's not cooperating with me, right? So I'm going to remove the reward, okay? Wait. Yes, good boy, okay. Good boy.
Didn't take him very long.
No. So I'll show you a few in a row.
It's amazing. It also amazes me how quickly they catch on.
They do, yeah. Especially if you start as a puppy. Yeah. Start as a puppy, they're so flexible. Like everything is just so new and their brain is still forming so much that they learn so fast. Dogs too, with the right motivation, but sometimes they can be a little more set in their ways.
Well, that's one of the questions I had for you too. I mean, definitely working with puppies, you can, you know, form them the way you need them and teach them the proper cues. But, you know, we do have a lot of clients too that rescue dogs.
Yes.
And is the training and the techniques the same?
The same.
If there's a dog that's already fearful of the vet, you'd still go and you just have to constantly reinforce it.
Yeah, you just, you still go, you take the really high value treats and all that, but the key at home is that you go a lot slower.
Okay.
So whatever the fear is, like I've had, you know, many dogs one dog personally in the family that was just terrified of any piece of equipment that you had, like so whether it was nail clippers or a cotton swab or anything that you had in your hand, they assumed you were coming for them. And so we had to go really slow with him. And some of these dogs, if they're fear biters and all that, I definitely, and I will show, actually if you want to hand me one of those muzzles over there real quick. There is such a benefit to muzzle training. I mean, I know you can't imagine doing this to a puppy, this is a puppy one, but like just such a benefit to muzzle training. And you basically, if they think it's like right now, he's like, I have no experience with this muzzle, so it's great. And this would never fit over your nose.
As far as he knows, it's a big treat you're putting on his
exactly.
face, so.
And muzzling a bulldog is not easy, but they are out there if you need to. So I mean, essentially, like it's a treat bowl. Like there's nothing. Like why is it scary for them until we make it scary and we force it on them? Then we do all these scary things to them.
Yeah, good point.
And if you bring your fearful dog in to the vet's office on muzzle already, it takes so much stress out of the whole idea of like, okay, now we're in a scary place and now I'm going to do the scary thing and this and that. And I mean, my dog Willow wears a muzzle, not at the vet's but other situations, and She loves the muzzle. She's like, this is like the best thing ever. It's like a treat dispenser attached to her face.
Wow.
I mean, I put peanut butter on there.
Oh yeah.
So she's just licking it, or I can take a spoon and stick some peanut butter in there. And she loves it. And there's nothing wrong with a muzzle. It looks, you know, they look like Hannibal Lecter. Nobody likes how they look. They're coming out with some pretty ones, actually. Some ones that are
pink
trying
and flowers.
Yeah, pink and flowers and gemstones and, you know, all kinds of stuff. And these are just two different types. This is a broader nosed dog, and this is for a longer nosed dog. But same thing.
Well, I think, you know, a lot of people don't like to use these too because then other people who don't understand why you might be using the muzzle are like, oh, you have a vicious dog.
Right. But you know what? It gives them space.
Yeah.
Like a lot of my clients, they'll say, you know, I'm trying to work with my dog, but everybody keeps coming over and says, oh, my dog doesn't mind and whatever. And you can tell them all kinds of things, but you put a muzzle on your dog and they just assume even though your dog's actually safer in that, like they should feel safer about approaching your dog when there's a muzzle on. They just assume all kinds of stuff and they give you space. And it's the best thing ever. I love it.
Hi, Delise. Thanks for joining us.
Hi. So...
All right, so what tip are we on now?
So I'm just going to demo a couple more quick times about that waiting game thing.
Okay, perfect.
And then we're on to our last official tip. All right. Ready? Wait. Yes, good boy. Okay. Really? That's it? That's all I had to do. Good boy. So I do this a lot with when I'm clipping a dog's nails.
Okay.
So I literally, like, I'll first teach the dog a good weight, and then I'll have them do it from a laying down position. And then if you can picture it, because he's not going to do this yet, but if you can picture it, basically it's, you know, for my dog Willow, for example, down, weight, treats over here. If you allow me to touch your foot, yes, good girl, you can have it. And then if you allow me to touch your foot with clippers, yes, good girl.
Oh.
And then clip a nail, yes, good girl. And that's where that rescue, like what you're asking, that rescue dog thing comes in, or the adult dogs. Go as slow as you need to go. And you don't even have to clip. Some people don't like to clip nails, and that's fine. Take something that's metal, that has sort of a similar consistency and to it, and, you know, tap their nails with it. Okay, because that can just help take the edge off. They're not going to be fooled into thinking that's the same thing, but but it can definitely help take the edge off. And I have lots of videos on that too, so you'll be able to see that. And then, you know what, I'm blanking on what my fifth.
So we've got holding mouth. Handling
Oh,
mouth.
yes, the handling of the mouth. That was the one that I picked for the last one. So, dogs at some point in their life will have to be pilled. Okay, they will have to be given a pill, or they will have to be pilled. Open their mouth and pill. And cats will have to be pilled.
Can you do this with cats?
Oh, absolutely. You can do all of this.
Do you do this with cats?
I have not done too much. I have made recommendations at the vet's office when I'm consulting with people there, but unfortunately, people don't see the value in training their cats to tolerate these things as much. But you can do all of it. I mean, the targeting,
so beneficial.
the treatment station, all of it.
Wow,
the opening of the mouth. Stick a little piece of tuna in when they're a kid.
Oh yeah.
And then, like, you can open my mouth any day of the week. It's fine by me. Keep putting the tuna in. So basically, it's the same thing with these guys. And I do like to, again, let them know what I'm doing. And I've never done this with him, so. Okay, ready? Mouth. Yay, good boy. So at first, I'm going to turn him again. At first, I'm basically touching his mouth. Sit. Sit. Oh. No. Yes, good boy. Okay, really for that. Okay, basically touching his mouth. Yes, good boy. And then he gets a treat for allowing me to do that. Brachycephalic dogs, or these smush-nosed dogs, really hate to have their mouth handled. They have terrible dental disease. They can't breathe as it is. They really hate the mouth stuff. So even just like coming off to the side, because we want to make sure we're finding that balance between, okay, I'm scaring you, but you're still eating, and I'm doing this in a way that you can actually enjoy. So to get them used to pilling. Yes, good. I wish you guys could have seen his face.
That's cute.
He's
That's
like,
so cute.
I'll stop biting you now.
So this would be great with trying to teach them to get their teeth brushed as well.
Teeth brush, yeah. So, you know, and I actually did bring a toothbrush, and if we had some extra time, I was going to demo that one, but if we should be right here. It's kind of hidden.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Have you guys ever brushed your teeth with peanut butter?
Oh, best kind of toothpaste.
Okay.
Chester, this is your lucky day, my friend.
So you can get doggy toothpaste. I mean, there's doggy toothpaste, but nothing's better than peanut butter. Or cheese. Cheese is fine too.
Oh, yeah.
Cheese, anything gooey that will
The
just
cheese
kinda
whiz
sit on
that you
there.
mentioned.
Yeah. So you get them. You take the toothbrush and just let them explore it first. Okay. So it's so delicious, huh? Sit. And you watch them get really excited to have this toothbrush
Oh,
in their mouth. Ready? And so right now I'm not touching his mouth, I'm not pulling his lips back, I'm not doing any of that stuff, but I am moving the toothbrush around a little bit in there. Okay, and he's just chewing on it and he's just getting the peanut butter off. And this goes, I mean, it's the same concept with like nail clippers or anything you're doing. Let's create a positive association first. And if that means, I have to put peanut butter on a spoon and let them lick it off while I do other things,
Yep.
like I could be doing his nails right now, no problem.
Yeah.
Right? I would just maybe need a second person, or I could smear some peanut butter on something that would be easy to wash, let him lick at it while I do this sort of stuff. Okay, so that definitely is another thing to work on at home. We just didn't make the cut, I guess, but we're mixing it in. But yeah, so same sort of idea. Lick, I'm doing the nails. Lick, I'm looking in the ears. So this is treating them during the process, and then you want to work up to having them allow you to do the thing and then get the treat afterwards. So, but that's a
I
goal.
love it. Has he ever had a toothbrush in his mouth before?
I
Is
don't
this his
know.
first
I
time?
don't know. I'd have to ask
This is great.
his owners, but I don't think he'll have an issue. And then, and just so you guys know too, you do not have to open the dog's mouth to brush your teeth.
Right.
You do not have to get in there like with us. You have to get you have to get doggy toothpaste that's enzyme based, so it breaks down the tartar. And you just have to really kind of pull their lips back and get back there. And so this is very counterintuitive. I'm brushing his teeth with peanut butter. But you know what? This can easily be switched out for toothpaste, no problem. And it's flavored toothpaste. Every dog they're all flavored.
Yeah.
So, but peanut butter is a nice starter.
Awesome.
Cheese is a nice starter. And then, on that note, just the same thing with, the handling and all that stuff. Smear, like I said, smear some peanut butter here. Let them lick. You do the nails or you do all the other stuff, and they're good to go. Like, they are really getting used to that. And then you bring that stuff with you, okay, to the vet's office. Bring the familiar, high-value treats. Don't rely on the vet's office to provide them, because most either don't know what to provide, or it would go bad really quickly so they don't stock up on it, or it's unfamiliar to the dog, so then we can create some GI issues. So bring what's familiar at home, but bring the really, really good $50 stuff. Like, not that it costs you $50, but it is worth $50 to him, like peanut butter.
Yeah.
So yeah, and a Kong, I brought a couple things that you guys should maybe bring to the vet with you. This is the Busy Buddy squirrel one. It's just like a Kong, except I like it better because it has these little teeth at the bottom of it. So, and you can cut them back if it's too hard, but my dog goes through everything really quickly. So I needed something a little harder for her. So, and I couldn't find a Kong.
He likes
under the
shoes
couch.
too.
He likes shoes, yes.
Just bring your shoes with you.
Just bring your shoes, yeah. It's fine. Hi. So same sort of thing. I mean, he can be licking at that under my knee or under my foot, and I can be messing with him doing stuff. He can be licking at that, and I can be brushing him. Right? Getting him used to that stuff. Flea comb.
Here's the brush.
That's something that we use at the vet's office. No, it's not. No, this is a...
but it could be. Oh, that's for bathing, because it has machine, like
Yeah.
the soap inside.
Yeah, the dogs like it. Any sort of brush type thing. Hair all over your kids' nail. Okay? This I brought just to kind of show you, like, if you have to, his owners asked me, you like that brush, asked me way in the beginning about cleaning out his folds in his nose. And so they would put the cleaning solution they got from the vet's office on the gauze and try to clean it out that way.
Yeah.
But guess who can smell that before it even gets anywhere near him? So he knows. So I had them start with just water on a piece of gauze.
Oh yeah, okay.
And just getting him used to that. And somebody was treating him while they were doing that, and then they could get in there. And they would do it when he was tired, not as feisty. This and that ball that you guys saw him with earlier, these are really nice really nice treat dispensing toys to keep them busy while you're talking to the veterinarian. Okay, because dogs can get really
Chester.
Thank you. Drop. Drop. This one might be worth holding on to. Good boy. Good boy. Thank you. Nice treat. When you're talking to the vet, the vet's taking the history and all that, dogs can get really impatient, really feisty, or really they can work themselves up and get really nervous. So having something really that will keep them busy, essentially. So start with it at home so they know how to use it. He learned this really quickly, how to use that thing. And then the Kong wobbler, it's not a regular Kong, just so you guys know. It's the top twists off.
Those are great, yeah.
And you put the food in there, and then it's like one of those old wobble toys. It can be really loud when the dogs get into it, so it's not my first go-to, but the thermometer.
Dun, dun, dun.
So I brought this not to demo it for you, but but basically, like,
we wouldn't do that to Chester.
No, we won't do that to him. But you know, simple stuff like just kind of getting them used to having their bum touched in this case, because a lot of dogs, they're like, nobody ever does that, and when they do, it's bad news. So, and then, you know, because one thing that we as the veterinary professionals do is we do this special kind of touch that really kind of loosens things up and distracts them in a way where then we can vaccinate or do whatever we need to do to them.
Right.
And the same thing happens with like the thermometer. Like if you can actually get them used to slowly, like, okay, we're touching here and here and here and here and here. And then we go in, and they're like, oh, okay, whatever. I didn't
drop it. Good boy.
Good boy. Good boy. Worth it, huh? You're going to have to tell Mom and Dad about your love for peanut butter.
Well, and let me ask you, too, because we're just about done here with our session. You know, if there are pet owners that are just not comfortable, maybe their rescue is relatively new, maybe they've done some of this training tips that you've advised, maybe they haven't had a chance, would you take their dog to the vet, or would you advise that you would come in and you would help with this training first, and then would you accompany them to the vet if that's a service?
I would, yes. It's a service I definitely have offered, and I've done it with a few dogs, and I had one dog in particular who was very fearful of the vet, a lab, and one of our two of our training sessions were just me taking him to the vet's office, my vet's office, because I can get out back and do stuff in that case, and just working him through some of the things that really made him nervous, like looking at his eyes and the nail trims. He was horrible for nail trims for the technicians, and I remember those days. He was so bad. And now when you take him in, I have a plan set into place for him, like what's going to work best for him. They put it in this file, and then when I'm not there, they still have that. Like, should the owner be there? Should the owner not be there? Should we hold him, or should we do like less is more type stuff? What are his favorite treats? What cues does he know that we could use in this case, and all that sort of stuff. So he learned the waiting game, and now that's his biggest thing.
Well, I know there are vets now that are saying that they work with the Fear-Free program.
Yes.
So would you advise people to seek out those types of vets?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there are still a lot of old school vets out there. And some of their techniques are still, they haven't grown in the studies that have been done that show that dogs will take anything that happens at the vet's office, they will absolutely take that home and apply it to life. They're always learning, no matter what, whether you intend them to be learning something or not. Right now, you know, he's chewing on my hand. If it hurts, he might be, and I were to take my hand away, he'd be learning that, hey, if he chews on me, I'm gonna move my hand or whatever. And it's something that I'm talking to you guys right now. As a human being, my instinct would be, you know, stop doing that, but then I just rewarded him for doing that. But it's just really important to understand that we are always teaching our dogs. Our dogs are always learning from every single experience. They're learning to do something more often, less often. They're learning it's a good thing or bad thing, whatever it is.
So just like kids, really.
Just like kids, yeah. And unfortunately, there are a lot of vet practices and some, you know, other pet professional type places that just haven't really gotten on board with the idea that the force-free training can happen and it can work, and we don't need to just, you know, like I could just take him and lay him on his side and make him stay put for me to do his nails, And then, you know, over time, he might allow me to do his nails. But let me tell you what, his body language is, he is completely shut down at that point. Okay, so there's nothing about that. A lot of people will say, like, oh, he's so much better. No. He is completely shut down because we have given him no options in the past. So he's just kind of given into it. So,
and I would think the long-term effects could be detrimental if that behavior continues.
Huge. Yeah, and a lot of dogs, you know, they're just fearful of strangers, fearful of handling. Somebody comes at them the wrong way and they're fearful of that. And that's not necessarily at the vet's office, but it's, they're doing it to visitors to the house or their neighbors. I mean, we had, you know, there have been experiences where dogs are at the vet's office, they're really stressed out, but they're shut down. They leave the vet's office and they bite somebody. And almost immediately, the next person they come into contact with, because they're no longer in that shut down state, but now they're doing that. Or they're biting the vet on their way out of the room.
Interesting.
As soon as the vet turns around, they're like, oh, yup, and, you know, bite them in the butt. And that's like the number one thing I always tell them, walk out backwards. If you're worried about this dog, you walk out backwards, because as soon as you turn their back, that's their opportunity at times.
Well, you know what? This is such fantastic information. I'm really glad that we had you here today.
Yes.
I learned a lot. I hope you learned a lot, and we will be posting this, you know, video for the replay. But I want to give Laura an opportunity to talk a little bit about her business too, because I think there's a lot that we don't know. And I know just with my dog's reactive behavior, I can see how valuable her experience would be. So tell us about, you know, what you do at Misbehavior Training.
Yeah, so I've been in business since 2008, and over that amount of time, I have gone from, you know, group training classes, tricks classes. I did a lot of that, and now I do, or in the past, well, since my daughter was born, really. So in the past 7 years or so, I've been doing primarily private training, family dog style training, coaching, I should say, because what I would do is I would go into their house, I would coach the people through what they should do, and then I would, you know, follow up with them, and we'd have sessions once a week or maybe once every 2 weeks or whatever it is. You need something to do. You're feisty.
Where's my ball?
Yes, you need something. And so, and the coaching was great because, you know, people, they absolutely, it's all about training the people. However, what I have found lately is that there is a huge benefit to me doing 80% of that work for you. So what I'm offering primarily now is day training, which I might actually rename that because I think it's a little confusing where people assume it's just like training that happens during the day, which is true. However, it's almost like a in-home tutoring type program like you would have for kids. It's like you bring the tutor in, it happens in your house, so it's in the comfort of your own home or around your home in the dog's case. And I work with the dogs. We set a plan. I work with the dogs after that, one-on-one. It's very efficient that way. I can get a lot done. Here, sorry, I was teasing you.
This is so interesting.
I'll take the spoon then. Maybe if I grab the spoon, you'll give me the treat ball. You have me well trained, Chester. So I go into the house, I work one-on-one with the dogs. It's very efficient because I don't have to explain the whole process the whole time because, let's be honest, like, you guys don't need to know exactly how to teach the cues. You need to know how to use them, how to apply them, what to do if your dog doesn't listen to them, problem solve behaviors. You know, you're not going to have me around forever, so I like to make sure that when I'm working with the people during what are called transfer sessions, where it's all of us working together, that I'm also teaching you guys how to problem solve your own stuff. So I call it the ABCs of behavior. It's just such a simple concept where you have a behavior problem. Okay, what are your options for breaking it down? So I am in the process of putting together workshops and seminars and webinars and stuff like that too to help with that side of things. Eventually, I'm going to be doing some virtual consulting.
Oh, wow.
Like Skype or Zoom or something like that. I'm still working out those kinks.
Oh, nice. And if somebody wants to find you, what's the best way?
So my website is missbehaviortraining.com. Okay, so MISS and Miss. And I'm on there. And the best way to contact me from there is just to go to the contact section, and it will shoot me fill out the form, and it will shoot me an email, and then we can touch base that way. I also am very active on both Facebook and Instagram. And unfortunately, I named them at 2 different times, but Instagram.com/misbehaviornh or Facebook.com/misbehaviortraining.
Okay.
And I do also have a download for you guys that sort of summarizes all of this vet prep type stuff, and I'm putting together a challenge group for it as well. So that'll be something to look for, and I will link that vet prep download in our notes.
We'll post it in the comment section here after we upload the replay.
Yes.
Excellent.
So yeah, so
Well, good. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And thank you everybody who joined us. And stay tuned for future puppy lunch and learns coming up in the future.
Yes.
All right.
Bye, Chester.
Have a great day, everyone.